During this video, I'll be going through how to create your own window datasets in vsHome. Firstly, I'm just going to explain the main elements of the window datasets and where to access it. So to access the window datasets, you'll need to go into the preferences, which you can find at the top right using the globe icon. Then on the left, you will see window datasets. And if you just expand that and select datasets, you can see I have the default sidewall system already there as standard. And to create a new window dataset, simply click the New button and a window will appear where you need to give the window system a name. I'm going to call this one 70mm window system. And then hit OK. And you'll see the window system editor then appears. This is where you can set the attributes for the new window system. So before we start, I'm going to explain the main aspects when creating a window dataset. So it's split up into categories, which can be found along the left-hand side here. It starts with system properties, where we can set the general settings for the window system, and we'll be going back to that in just a second. Then we have a section for notes, glass decoration settings, and the finishes, which when expanded includes profile and hardware finishes. Then we have sections where you can set up specific discounts and markups for your window systems, followed by boundary components. When you expand this section, you can customize your window sills, frame couplers, frame extenders, and corner posts, and in particular the frame deductions relating to each item, which when specified will allow the software to provide accurate manufacturing sizes for your windows and doors. Following on from that, we have a number of sections which are dedicated to a specific type of window or door, such as casements, tilt and turns, bifold and patio doors, and various other options. Each section allows specific properties to be set, such as frame and window options, which allow for specifications such as reinforcing and hardware options to be set. Other options such as profile sizes, including glazing deductions, can be set for the outer frame, transoms, mullions and sashes. Below the window and door sections you can find a costing section, which when completed can allow the software to provide accurate costing based on glass decorations, fabrication costs, profile finishes and window and door style. Finally, there are some basic fabrication options and a mapping option, which allows the software to alter some specifications, such as hardware options based on the profile finish selected. So to start with, we will simply be filling in the system properties and creating a few different profile and hardware finishes. So back to the system properties at the top. I'm going to start with the system description. I have kept the length of the system name as short as possible to ensure that it remains legible when viewed within the model or on the reports. As such, you can add a more detailed description into the system description field, and in this case I'm going to input 70mm chamfered window system. Next, you can add a version number, and I'm going to start with 1.0 and just leave it at that, which can be updated each time a change is made to the window dataset. Now you will need to provide a short system ID, so I'm going to abbreviate the system name to 70WS. Now I'm going to leave the series of drop-down menus which follows as they are, but just to quickly go through them, we have breakdown and pricing visibility. We need that set to always so we can see the pricing breakdown. The glass decoration control allows you to switch from general to system specified options, which can be customized within the window datasets. We will be detailing how the options can be customized later in this video. The profile finishes specified by refers to how we view the list of options within the model and whether they appear in a combined list or are separated into independent lists for external and internal finishes. I prefer to work with a single combined list, so we will leave that set as it is. You can then decide whether to include the depth of the sill or head extension in the frame sizing, which will appear on the reports. In this case, I'm leaving those set to no. The next field determines how many glass controllers appear within the model. This is similar to the combined list for external and internal finishes. You can decide to have a single controller for all the frame glass or have 3 separate controllers, which include fanlight glass, sidewall glass, and lower panel. There are also options to remove just the fanlight glass or lower panel controllers. Now I'm going to leave it set as 3 separate controllers. The retailer glazing discount is left to undiscounted in this case, and we want to leave it set to yes under performing legality checks, which means that warnings will be shown within the model in respect to minimum and maximum frame sizes, depending on style. These will be dictated by the content of the style matrices located within the costings section of the window dataset. We will be detailing how to complete the costing section, along with setting up the style matrices later in the video. If you don't intend to set up the costings and style matrices, then it may be best to turn the legality checks off. Okay, so finally for this section, we need to set the frame depth to 70 millimeters. And also list the general glass thickness, which in this case will be 24 millimeters. There is also a field in between which allows you to set the minimum clearance between the transom and the corner of a shaped frame. This will default at 150 millimeters, which means that warnings will appear within the model should a transom position fall below this minimum clearance, providing the legality checks are turned on. So having completed the system properties, we can now move on to the notes section. This area allows free text to be added across 5 pages and can be useful when keeping records of changes which are made to the window datasets. For example, we can use the version number for reference, followed by a short description of the changes included in that version and the date we made the changes. So, just for example, okay, so the next section relates to glass decoration, and this is where we can customize the system specified options. This includes deciding which type of glass decorations to include, with options for Georgian bar or single Georgian bar, margin and diamond lead, as well as arched corners and Gothic bars. The width of bar or lead can be customized, as well as the separation between Georgian bars and size of diamond lead. As we have chosen to use the general options for glass decoration for the sake of this video, we will come back to this area later. So now we can move on to the finishes section, which can be expanded to reveal both profile and hardware finishes. So firstly, we're going to do profile finishes. To create a new profile finish, just click the Create button over here, which will bring up the Create New Profile Finish window. So for this demonstration, I'm going to start by creating a simple white. So firstly, I need to input the name. And in this case, all the other settings will remain the same. And we can simply hit OK and move on. Next, I'm going to create a rosewood finish. So hit Create again. And input the name. Now, when dealing with a wood grain texture like rosewood, you need to select foiled from the external finish type drop-down menu. Then, using the external foil type drop-down menu, you can choose from a selection of classic wood finishes. Then moving on to the internal finish type, in this case we can use the drop-down menu to select same as external. This is useful when creating profiles that have the same finish both internally and externally. Okay, now we can hit OK. Now I'm going to create a rosewood on white profile finish. Again, hit create and input the name. So start with the same as last time for the external finish, but instead of selecting same as external for the internal finish type, I'm going to leave this selected to white and then hit OK. Now I'm going to create an anthracite profile finish. Now, when dealing with colours, you need to select coloured from the external finish type drop-down menu. This will activate the external colour field, which when clicked upon will bring up the choose colour window, where there are a number of ways to select the colour that you want. If you want to choose the closest match, there are a selection of greys along the left here, but if you want to create a more accurate colour, then you can input the exact HSV, HSL, RGB or CMYK colour reference. So I'm just going to open up Paint and show you how to get the colour reference for anthracite. Okay, so before we go into Paint, what you need to do in order to get the colour reference for anthracite and any other colours is just do a quick Google search of the colour itself. And then just go over to images and just save one of these pictures here, whatever one is suitable. Save it to your desktop and then we need to open it up in Paint. So I've already done that. I'm just going to head over to Paint and open up my image. Okay, so now you need to use the eyedropper tool, which is just up here, or the colour picker. Click on the colour and then select Edit Colours from the top, and you will see down here in this preview box that the anthracite grey has been selected, and to the right it will give you the HSL and RGB colour reference. So I'm just going to make a note of that RGB colour reference and then we can head back to vsHome. Okay, so now that I've shown you how you can get the colour reference using Paint, I'm going to input that into the RGB section by inputting 63, 71 and 73. And you will see that the anthracite colour will become visible within the preview section at the bottom of the window. And then hit OK. So now we can make use of the same as external feature as before and just select that from the internal finish type drop-down menu and hit OK. So now I'm going to go to create an anthracite on white and begin by inputting the name and selecting coloured from the external finish type drop-down menu as before. And then I'm going to input that same RGB reference that we got for anthracite, as I just made a note of it previously. And then hit OK. And this time we are leaving the internal finish type set to white, and then I'm going to hit OK. Okay, so now I'm going to create a chartwell green profile. Starting by inputting the name again, selecting coloured from the external finish type menu, and then opening up the colour chooser and inputting the RGB reference. And what we can do is just refresh your memory on how we get that reference again, and I'll go through it for the chartwell green colour. Okay, so do a quick Google search of chartwell green, save a picture of the colour, this one is suitable, or this one down here. Open up Paint, open up the image that you've just saved, select the colour picker and click on the colour, and then go over to Edit Colours and make a note of the RGB or HSL reference that you'll see in the bottom right of the window. Okay, so now we can input that reference that we just got. 152.174.153. And you'll see the chartwell green comes up in the preview box. And then we're going to make use of the same as external feature on the internal finish type drop-down menu and then hit OK. Finally, I'm going to make chartwell green on white. And again, follow the same process as last time. Input the RGB reference or whatever reference you chose. But this time, we're going to leave it set to white for the internal finish type and hit OK. Okay, so now we can move on to the hardware finishes. We're going to keep it simple and create white, gold, chrome and a painted hardware finish that will match whatever profile colour you have. So to create a new hardware finish, simply hit Create. Give the hardware finish a name. I'm starting with white, and then you select the finish type from the drop-down menu. So again, starting with white, just hit OK. And then we go through the same process for gold, chrome, and finally the painted finish. And when it comes to the painted finish, I'm going to call it painted. And from the finish type, you select profile match as it will match the hardware finish to the profile finish. So for instance, if you have a chartwell green profile, your hardware will also be painted chartwell green. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is hit save on the new window system we've just created and select yes to save the changes. I'm then going to close down the preferences and restart the software so that the changes can take effect. Okay, so I've just restarted the software, and what I'm going to do is open up a new project to show you the new profile finishes we've created in the window datasets area. I'm going to open up a new model. Now, it's important that when you open up a new model, you are using this window/door system drop-down menu to select the correct window system that you'd like to use. So we created the 70mm window system. I'm going to make sure that's selected there, and then just open a standard model to give you the demonstration. Okay, so if we just zoom in a little bit and get the detailed lines on. Go to the Materials tab on the right-hand side within the Edit area, and then using the Frames Colour drop-down menu, we can select from all the different finishes that we created in the video. As you can see, the rosewood on white allows the frames to be rosewood on the outside and white on the inside. Now I'm just going to flick through the remainder of the profile finishes that we created. For more tutorial videos, visit the support area on our website.